Brighton have announced their squad numbers for the 2025-2026 season, and we are going to get into it. Hello and welcome to Seagulls Central. My name is Adam MacDonald, and welcome back to the channel. As I always say, if you're new here, thank you so much for clicking on this video. Welcome to the fastest growing Brighton fan community on YouTube. It is a pleasure to have you. And if you're one of the regular viewers who are always here, I see you. Thank you so much for coming back. It's really, really appreciated. We're banging out the videos at the moment. We're on a roll of like one a day. So we're cooking, and I hope you're enjoying it. Listen, let's get into it. We've got a big update. And I think it provides us with a bit of a window into the vision of how this squad is going to be shaping up for the 2025-2026 season. Which players have prominent roles, which players maybe don't, which of the new signings are perhaps being kind of prioritised and which ones aren't. There's been quite a few changes. Obviously, the squad is still looking pretty big, and we have a lot of players, and there are a lot of players on the list that the club released, which I think will still, are yet to still be moved on. However, there's been a lot of changes. There's like probably about kind of 12 changes in squad numbers, or 12 notable numbers. And I think we can read into it. I am one of those people who personally thinks you can read into it. I imagine there'll be people in the comments going, what a load of nonsense, you can't read into it. However, I think you can, and I'll get into why I do. Well, now let's do it. So I think the big ones are this. Paul van Hecke upgraded to the number 6 shirt. Obviously, probably our best central defender, probably our best defender going into this season, has taken a massive upgrade from his previous shirt number at 29, going into this season as number 6. Now, my question is, after the video we made yesterday, speaking around the reports coming out of Holland around his future and where his future lies, reports that he's looking for a move or maybe kind of refusing to tie himself down to the Albion, have the club try to reward him, try to boost the Paul van Hecke kind of momentum in terms of being at Brighton and Hove Albion by giving him the number 6 shirt, a show of faith, a show of confidence, a show of importance to a big leader, a big player in our side. Dunk number 5, Van Hecke number 6. It's a big promotion in terms of squad numbers. Does that speak to anything? It's all speculative at this point, but what I think that does say is that Brighton at this stage have absolutely no plans to sell him. Clearly, the situation with Van Hecke isn't at a stage where it's looking like he's going to be leaving imminently. He's been given a big squad number, a big boost. And I think maybe we can read into that as like, okay, he's here to stay. He's going to be a big part of this season. He's central to the plans. We knew that already. Maybe this kind of confirmation of squad number speaks to that. Secondly, Georginio Rutter, big promotion for him, taking the number 10 shirt. Obviously, we all know it, the number 10 shirt at any football club, a massive, massive boost. But I think it speaks to his importance. Obviously, last season, we speak about it so much. I used the word, but I'm going to use it again. A talismanic-like figure for the Albion last season. I think he's going to be expected this season to really step up. Everything I imagine is going to go through him next season. He's going to be one of those players where he is the first name on the team sheet. We saw, obviously, through the money that Brighton spent on him, but also the amount of games he played last season, how much the club, how much Fabian Hürzeler trust him, back him, believe in him. And I think the fans, we've obviously really taken to him as well. And I think if we were all to sit around and have a conversation, the conversations I'm having to you as well, we're talking about important players next season. He is right up there. Him, Yankuba Minteh, Mitoma, Van Hecke, Baleba. We're talking about the players that we can envision the 25-26 kind of team being built around. A huge promotion for him, obviously having that number 14, taking that from Adam Lallana. I like the number 14. But yes, stepping up into number 10. It's interesting as well how you think about who had the number 10 in the past. Obviously, Alexis McAllister having that. But then it going to Julio Enciso after McAllister left. Roberto De Zerbi giving Enciso the number 10 shirt. Obviously, speaking to at that time the real faith and real belief that De Zerbi had in Julio Enciso. Obviously, now we look at this squad list. He's been demoted to the number 31. Now, what does this speak to? Clearly, Julio Enciso's future in the short term isn't going to be on the pitch with the Albion because he's just recently underwent surgery. Out in South America, the reports still suggest that he's going to be out there as part of his recovery. And it seems like he's not a player in the immediate term who is in Fabian Hürzeler's plans. And it looks like if it wasn't for this injury, he may well have been sold this summer. I think we're going to be looking at a winter sale, probably, maybe even to next summer with a year left on his deal. big statement in that respect, moving away from the number 10, losing the number 10. You imagine a player, if you lose the number 10, you're probably quite annoyed, and there must have been an acceptance on both sides that this kind of era for him at Brighton and Hove Albion is essentially done by losing that number 10 shirt. Sad, but there we go. Right, big ones. Let's get on to them. Let's talk about some of the new signings. Charalampos Kostelas, number 19, and Stefanos Tsimas, number 9. Big move that for Tsimas, isn't it? Getting number 9. Obviously worn by João Pedro last season. I think, in a squad, your two strikers, at least like when I do it on like Football Manager or Career Mode, your two strikers in my book have, your 9 is your starting number 9, your 19 is your backup number 9. That's how I've always thought it. For Tsimas, taking number 9 is a big deal. Now, the question on my lips is how they decided who's getting which one. Is this a sign for us that Tsimas is viewed as our number 9 for next season? And maybe Kostelas is a little bit of a different mould in that sense? Or is it maybe just kind of like Tsimas was signed first, he was over the line? Maybe since he was literally in the building first, he was kind of promised the number 9. That was kind of agreed. He was given it. He was kind of asked to pick out a number maybe when he joined. Maybe it's as simple as that, or can we read into that? Does that mean that they maybe view Stefanos Tsimas as slightly ahead in kind of the pecking order versus Charalampos Kostelas? It seems like Kostelas is going to have a part to play alongside Tsimas, but I suppose from everything we know about the two players, it seems like Tsimas is more of a conventional number 9, a stocky Ferguson style, back to goal, spins people in behind, scores goals, poacher, and it seems like Babis is a little bit maybe more of a kind of drifter and he can play in the 10, can play out wide, can dribble, can cross, can score goals, maybe a bit more of a rounded forward. Maybe that move kind of makes sense in terms of Tsimas getting that number 9. Moving on to some of the other new players, Tommy Watson getting 14. I like that number. It's a good in the the world of football, the history of football, 14, fantastic number. I'd be delighted with that if I was a new signing coming in at 14. It shows as well he's not been given, I don't know, you definitely can't read into this, and I will accept that this is reading into it too much when I say this next line, but like, if he'd been given like a kind of 27, not that he would because Weaver's already got that, but like a 30 something, like you might think, oh God, maybe this guy's like not got as much of a big role next season maybe. But I kind of feel like the fact he's been given 14, that feels like a number where you are, you're not, it's like, it's not even in the 20s, is it? It's like you've given 14, like that's a proper number in a squad. So it makes me feel like he will have a proper role to play, probably in supporting Mitoma as our left winger next season. Just looking at this list as well, Buscagli, new signing, number 21, seems pretty standard. Coppola, new signing, taking the number 42, a bit of a rogue number, and he was right at the bottom of the list in terms of all of the players with their new numbers. And it felt like, God, have we kind of just chucked into the side? A bit of research, it shows that was his number at Hellas Verona, so he's obviously got a bit of history with that number, and since kind of 6 has been taken, Van Hecke, Webster 4, Dunk 5, all of the kind of main centre-back numbers are taken. Clearly for Buscagli and Coppola, it's about them picking numbers that they quite like, and clearly Coppola's gone for 42 as a kind of legacy number for him, and Buscagli 21. If I had to pick a number, if I was in a position where the kind of main numbers weren't available, just personally, I really like the number 21. I like 21, I like 14. Just how you've definitely got them as well. You just kind of have those numbers that you kind of always quite like. And speaking of that, actually numbers that mean a lot and maybe people have a preference to, let's talk about the number 13. Obviously Pascal Gross's number, a legendary number in recent years, one that we, because often the number 13, we all kind of know it's a bit of an unlucky number. Often goalkeepers take 13. And it was a bit kind of interesting when Pascal Gross came in and took the number 13. But I think now for Brighton and Hove Albion fans in the modern era, the number 13 is synonymous with one of our greatest ever players. And who's taken it? Now that they've had the opportunity to take it, it's a crazy move. I'd never take the number 13, even though Pascal Gross had it. I don't even know if I'd want to take that. Jack Hinshelwood's got it, our new number 13. Obviously, Hinshelwood have been having spoken about in the past by Roberto De Zerbi as, how did he describe him? Pascal Gross's son or something, didn't he? And I do think it's a nod to that. I think with Jack Hinshelwood being a local lad, understanding the kind of how important Pascal Gross was, and obviously being a player that as he was coming through the academy, he would have looked up to a player like Pascal Gross. Does so many things similarly to Pascal Gross, can play in different positions, is versatile, is technically brilliant. that feels perfect, doesn't it? And I can almost imagine Buzz as the kit man kind of offering that to Hinshelwood and be like, hey, what do you think of this? Do you want to take the number 13? And it just feels perfect. Local lad, taking a Brighton Legends shirt, similar style of player in terms of versatility. It's nice. He obviously moved from 41, which I presume was just the academy number he was given when he was given a pro contract. But yeah, nice that. So Hinshelwood 13. Who else? We've got Minteh upgrading from number 17 to number 11. What does this say? Well, this says that Brighton now view him as one of our starting wingers, the starting winger on the right-hand side. Mitoma on the left, 22. He's kind of made that his own. I would have wondered whether they would have given Mitoma that 11, to be honest, but maybe he's comfortable with that. Minteh being able to take the number of Simon Adingra after he's left. I think it's a big statement. I do think it's a big statement. I think it means that he is a key part of the plans. We're rewarding him for having a brilliant season in the Premier League, showing him that, we want to make you a big part of our plans this season. And I love it. It looks good. Minteh 11. Love that a lot. Finally, Baleba taking the number 17. Now, this feels like a bit of a weird move. Obviously, Baleba previously having been number 20, but it makes sense when I tell you this. And it's like, why would Baleba maybe not have taken number 4 or number 8? Obviously, they're taken by Webster and Gruder, but you maybe would have thought if he's going to move from 20, why would he not move? Would then maybe not pinch a number off someone else? But no, he's taking number 17, which is obviously Minteh's old number. And I think the reason that Baleba has moved from 20, because I think, why would you move from 20 to 17 if you're not going to go for a proper number? And I think it's because James Milner has taken the number 20 this season, partly, I'm sure, to make way for Paul van Hecke wearing the number 6. Obviously, Milner previously wearing the number 6. But I also think maybe everything just felt right, because that was obviously his former teammate at Liverpool, Diogo Jota's number that he wore at Liverpool, maybe even wore at Wolves as well, I don't know. But clearly maybe the club went to him, look, do you want to give your number 6 to Van Hecke? And then you can go and we'll let you take maybe obviously your 6 won't be there. What number do you want? Do you want to take the 20? That could be a really nice touch. And I think it's a lovely touch all round. Obviously, it's not going to be one of the ones that's spoken about that much. We're going to be talking more about the ones that affect directly the Brighton and Hove Albion kind of squad. You think about the kind of 13 for Gross, but actually away from a Brighton theme and thinking more in the football sense and kind of his former teammates at Liverpool, and obviously the tragic news around Diogo Jota. That's a really nice touch, that, isn't it? Taking the 20, obviously Liverpool retiring the number 20. And I think, we heard Milner talking about Diogo Jota and what a lovely bloke and what a good friend he was to him at Liverpool during his time there, and what player he was, what an unbelievable finisher he was. So a really nice touch for Milner to take that. So then as a result, obviously that was Baleba's number. It makes sense. And then Baleba obviously moves number. Shame he probably couldn't have got a better number, but he's going to be fine with number 17. So that's the kind of main highlights. Obviously, Verbruggen's still number 1. Dunk's still number 5. All your usual suspects still there. No one's changed. O'Reilly's still there at 33. Diego Gomez, 25. Ferdi Kadioglu, 24. Nothing too out of the ordinary. Obviously, Sarmiento, who had been 19 previously, now Costilas has taken that. Sarmiento has been relegated to 32. That is clearly just a holding number before he gets sold, and it seems like he is going to be sold in the coming weeks and days. But yeah, I think, what does this tell us? I think it tells us Stefanos Tsimas seemingly is our starting number 9 next season. Interesting. How's that going to work? Obviously, he's going to be fighting, obviously not literally our starting number 9, but he's wearing the number 9 shirt. He's going to be fighting with Danny Welbeck for that position. I just want to see the Southampton game on Saturday. I want to see who's lining up. Where is Costilas playing? Where is Tsimas playing? Minteh, big one, getting the number 11. And Van Hecke obviously taking the number 6. Georginio taking the number 10. They're the big ones, aren't they? Who's got the number 10? Georginio. And it feels right, that, doesn't it? It does feel right. I do really like that. Listen, let me know what you think in the comments. What does this speak to? Have we given the wrong player the wrong number? Does Georginio deserve the 10? Do you think the number 6 is a move from Brighton to try and really put the onus on Van Hecke, give him that understanding of responsibility and show him how much he kind of means to the club, giving him a big number? upgrading him from obviously number 29. Let me know what you think in the comments. Does it mean much? Have I just done 15 minutes of talking absolute nonsense around kit numbers, and am I reading into it way too much? I'm sure many of people in the comments will tell me that. But let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching this video as always. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. I really, really appreciate all your support. I will see you after the Southampton game as we dig into that and all of the little stories that come out of that. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. And as always, up the Albion.